So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hiban. And now, for the review of the day. Got a review on the Certified Outbound Lead Specialist on Rebus University, Christopher Leon. Christopher Leon gave it 5 stars. Certified Outbound Lead Specialist with Dale Archdeacon and Sam Monreal. This is an excellent course, a must-take course. As a trained salesperson, I found much value in this course. If you are not a trained salesperson, you will likely get more than what I even got out of it, because you'll learn how to source leads, how to talk to the leads, understand exactly what's getting in your way of getting the appointment, and finally, how to ask for the appointment professionally. Hands down, top-notch shit right here. Thank you so much, Christopher Leon. 5 stars. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast, so give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening. All right, Rockstar Nation, I have a great guest. Been trying to get this guy on the show for a while now, and he is knocking it dead across the nation, teaching agents how to be massively productive and basically put more money in their pocket. And I got him on the show here. I'm excited, live from Atlanta, Georgia. Not live, but recorded from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Matt Fagioli. Matt, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars, brother.
Hey, Pat. Really glad to be here. We finally put it together. Your crazy schedule and my crazy schedule. So here we go. Excited.
Hey, why don't you fill everybody in on what you do and who you are?
Sure. So I've been in real estate for 15 years, agent and broker in Atlanta. But this is 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, we built a conference platform called Explode Conference. So we build these one-day training events all around the country to talk about tech and marketing for real estate. And it just kind of took off, right? The pun is it exploded. And so now we do, 12 or 15 conferences a year with partners like Realtor.com and Homes.com and a bunch of other tech companies. So until just recently, last 5 years probably, I haven't really been practicing much real estate in Atlanta because I'm never here. But now I'm building a new team in Atlanta in the last 6 months. Very excited about that, and I'm sure we'll go into that further. But Explode Conference is my everyday job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hear a lot of good things about Explode Conference, and we'll touch on that on the back end too. All right. So first of all, what is that like? Like how long have you been building a team in Atlanta?
Well, so when I got in real estate in 2003, had some great success. I was, Realtor of the Year, Rookie of the Year for KW region, 2004 or whatever. And so anyway, had some big success, put up some big numbers. And, then when the market tanked, like everybody, I was like, which way am I going? And I had already built a training business. So started focusing more on the training business. People were really taken to it. I think a lot of people were looking at that time like, hey, what's the new method? How am I going to change my business practice to make this work? Yeah. So anyway, so the timing was good there. And it got so big that I wasn't practicing real estate. About 6 months ago, made the decision, hey, I want to build a new team in Atlanta and build it based on, all the, kind of smoke what I'm selling, right? Build a new team based on exactly all the stuff that we tell people at the conference. Hey, this is what you should be doing. And here's the new tools, the new hotness, as I call it. So it's really interesting to kind of literally put my money where my mouth is and go, see what I can do here.
Well, let's tell the truth, Matt. The real reason is you went around the country and you were like, man, if you were teaching people how to do stuff, and you're like, man, if that dork can make that sort of money with what I'm teaching him, I could make 3 times as much.
About 10 of my buddies who are going to listen to this recording are going to go, he's talking about me. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, you're exactly right, Pat. I mean, but you know, it's just I'm excited. I've been out of it for a while, and really excited about what we're doing. Got some cool people on my team, and we're starting to see lead flow. And just listened actually to a couple of your recordings this morning as I was prepping for this, and guys that I know, they're talking about the stuff that I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, it's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, all right. So, well, I want to ask you about that, right? So 6 months, right? So you're, okay. So, you know, clearly, right? You've been traveling around the country a long time teaching agents, and it's working. Like, what if you had to boil it down, which you obviously did, right? And started over 6 months ago, and you basically took a cup of coffee and made it espresso, because I know you weren't going to start slow, you were going to start fast. What did you do? And tell us, like, what did you do to go from basically what you do to start up again that you didn't do the first time around because you learned so much from teaching? Does this make sense?
Sure. Well, the funny thing is, I mean, the stuff doesn't change. The tools change, the tech changes, whatever, but the method doesn't change. But you know, everybody gets in real estate. They don't know what they're doing. They're just chasing their tail, and then they get to a certain volume. You know, Gary Keller, I'm sure he wasn't the first one, but calls it, you know, natural ceiling of achievement. Everybody gets in real estate, and you can get to your natural ceiling of achievement really easily.
The book, I think, was the Peter Principle, was the first one that came out with that.
Yeah. So anyway, so you get to, you know, almost anybody who's got any sales skill at all, right, can get to their natural ceiling of achievement, but then everybody just kind of stays there and, you know, figures it out.
Right.
So anyway,
it happens to all of us, myself included, right? We all reach
sure
limit, and it's the ones that are able to break through that that really find out what life is all about. So keep going.
So breakthrough, right, is backwards, right? You got to go, wait a minute, let me back up, fix things, go higher. Let me back up.
I like that.
Go higher, right? I'm stealing. That's all Gary Keller stuff. No, but you know, you get running at your natural ceiling of achievement. Nobody wants to give up anything. They're like, wait a minute, I might do less business this month if I try to go higher, if I try to change things. It's going to be broken. It's not going to be natural, whatever. So anyway, so what's interesting now is I'm coming into it. If there's 10 levels, well, I guess in Gary Keller world, there's 7 levels of building a real estate organization, right? I'm coming in at level 5, 6, or 7, somewhere.
That's what's happening. A lot of people are coming on this show, and you know, they're like, I'm 24 years old. I've never met a buyer or seller, and I have 15 buyer agents, and I'm buying 20 grand a month in Zillow ads. I mean, you see that whole, the 7 level is brilliant, but like you said, some people don't even go to 1, 2, 3. You know, they go straight to 4 or 5. Are you saying that? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's just system instead of, you know, system first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if I ever, you know, see a client face to face. Now, that's not in practice. That's not what's happening. I mean, I am talking to clients. I'm helping all my people. I mean, we're still, you know, this is all still beta. But right, the intention is to build a system. So the goal we've set for this year is to generate and nurture 10,000 leads, with as much of that being seller side as possible. And so I don't even actually, everything that happens this year, I don't even care. Like, of course we want to close stuff. Like,
I know. Yeah.
What I care about is, what I really care about is, when I get to January, did I generate 10,000 leads, or did, you know, if I fell short, was it 6,000 or whatever it was? How many leads do we generate in the year? And then what the heck does the first quarter of 19 look like, right? And so, you know, one of your questions on your prep page was like, you know, what would you tell an agent with, you know, if they're just starting the business, whatever?
Yeah.
To the extent that you can think at 90 days and think at 12 months and focus on the execution that's going to drive a result there, the better your life's going to be, right? The closer that comes in, if I need money this week, I need money this month, the more pressure there is there, you know, the more it's going to take away from that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love the mentality of it because it so much scratches the record of, the attitude of, I got to do it myself first and then teach it to someone else. It's a very slow process to do that. You know what I mean? But if you think about anybody that starts a company or a startup nowadays, right? You you generally, unless you're starting a real estate business or an insurance business or something like that, where you're working out of your house, then you're building up a lot less risk in this, by the way, of doing it like that. But any regular company, right? Let's say it's a computer company or a liquor store or a dry cleaning business, right? You're hiring people from day one, and you're not, a lot of times, not doing it yourself, right? Or you're buying a franchise, you're not doing it yourself. So why is real estate any different? And I think that's what people are seeing. Now, what comes with that is risk, right? I mean, like a buddy of mine, I had this conversation with him, and he had a choice of either buying a huge franchise with 50 employees or becoming an insurance agent and working out of his house and then, making insurance commissions. And he chose to buy this company, get this big loan, and the company went out of business in a year. Now he's bankrupt. So, if he'd have done insurance, he'd probably have a little book of business and he'd, been no risk. But am I making sense? It's just
Totally.
it's not right for everybody. But if your goal is to be a businessman and not deal with the emotional bullcrap that comes with real estate, at least buyers and sellers, then you do what you did.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's funny. I'm having these conversations right now. We both have kids that are at college age or graduating, whatever, and I've got a couple other people, young people in my life that I'm coaching, and we have these conversations all the time about do you have an employee mindset or do you have a business owner mindset? And wherever you fall on that scale is going to have a big impact on the decisions you make. And then the other big piece is, what have you determined your value is in dollars? Are you willing to trade a year of your life for $100,000, $40,000, $1 million, $2 million, whatever? So I got the guy that coaches me. I'm like, my goals are, $1 million, $2 million, whatever for each little business.
Right. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, man, I got big goals, man. I'm a big deal, The guy that coaches me has a dude that, like, he wants to build 2 businesses in 5 years that are each going to sell for $1 billion or whatever. And I'm like, I'm a schmo, right? I'm willing to trade my whole life for $1 million. And I'm okay with the world knowing that. Like, that's kind of my number in my head. It's like million net, live my life, go out in the woods and shoot some beavers. Like, that's what I want. And so, but if you're a guy that says, hey, I only want $50,000 and I don't want any risk. I want $100,000. I don't want to deal with any people. Then cool. Then you get in real estate and you're an individual practitioner. If you ever want to build a $500K business, $1 million business, $2 million, $10 million, whatever it is, it has to be system first. So it's really interesting to be able to come back into the business and say, if you're practicing and you're running on that rabbit wheel all the time, and then you got to stop and build a system. But
okay, so let's talk about that. Has to be system first. So give me an example of a system that you implemented in your business for 6 months.
So like I was saying, everything that we're doing now is trying to generate 10,000 leads and nurture them automatically with as little human touch as possible.
In what period of time?
In a year.
How many?
In a year, 10,000 leads.
10,000 leads a year. So let's say $1,000 a month, 1,000 leads a month. How are you doing that? Give me specific, like what companies are using, what software, blah, blah, blah.
Sure. So right now we're screwing around like it's beta, right? So we got leads coming in from Realtor.com. We got, Facebook leads coming in. We're dealing with this new company called Uniform that's doing a qualified, it's a mortgage lead, basically. They've applied for a mortgage, but they've identified that they do not have a realtor. So it's an exclusive lead from somebody who's applied for a mortgage.
That's a good one. What do you got to pay them?
The jury's still out. So right now, the way that pricing is, it's scaled based on the dollar value of the loan qual. So if it's $100,000, it's $10, and if it's $1 million, it's $50, and like that.
For the lead, okay.
For the lead,
so
yeah.
You're just paying the lead, and then let the chips fall where they may. It's not contingent on whether they buy or not. It's just you're paying for the one. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's no different really than Realtor.com or Zillow. You're paying you got to pay them regardless of whether you close the deal. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. Right. So there's a million lead sources. So anyway, right now
I like that though, because they're qualified.
Yeah, I mean that's a bottom of the funnel lead. Literally just got the first leads the other day, and so the big word of all of this system stuff is API, right? Everything has got to talk to everything else in an automated way, so that there's no human moving data around or whatever.
And you want to do that because you want to save money and be more efficient, right?
Well, you can't. There's no way that you can have a system that's running 1,000 leads a month or more without true automation. And so,
I mean, you could, but you could just hire a ton of freaking people and agents. But you're saying,
yeah, but come on, man. I mean, where's the sex in that?
Yeah.
Right. So,
no, I agree. But yeah.
So that's what we've been doing spent the first 3 months like screwing around, like getting my license fixed and all this other kind of stuff and signage and hiring a couple people. And so the last 90 days we've been, okay, let's start to acquire some leads. Okay, let's see how this automation goes. And then, what happens to everybody that tries this stuff is everything's broken, right? So you get to this step and you're like, oh, we got to fix this.
It's always the same. Costs more money. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, have you sold any houses?
What's that?
Have you sold any houses?
Yeah, it was funny. Back to your prep list, it was like, how many houses have you sold last year? 3. I sold 3 in December. Awesome. But anyway, so we accidentally, like I said, I really actually don't care about the short-term result. I mean, would like to make some money, that'd be great, but the plan is to make the system work. So, but we closed kind of by accident, closed 3 houses in December, so that was nice.
That's awesome. So what all these agents, right, that you're training, you're traveling around, you travel a lot. I know I saw your schedule. If you had to boil it down to one thing where agents are failing, where you are able to teach them to succeed, what would that one thing be?
Mindset.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Such a cliche, that word mindset. I mean, it really comes down to that mindset, like whether or not they believe they can do it or not.
Yeah. And you're right. I hate the fact that it's such a super cliche, but that is everything. And it goes, what we were talking about a minute ago is, what have you decided you're worth? And in dollars for sure, but also just in general, who you are as a person, how happy you are, truly, deeply joyful, going through your day is a function of how people are going to respond to you. And that's what drives a business hire. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff. We all want to talk about lead conversion and stuff like that. And it's really cool, but the fundamentals are higher level than that.
And now a word from Rockstar agent and Rebus University graduate, Mr. Jeff Quinton.
Hello, my name is Jeff Quinton, and from Keller Williams, the Quinton Group. I service all of Southern New Jersey, and our expansion team is in the greater Philadelphia area. And just wanted to give a shout out to Rebus University, Pat Hyben and his crew. My team, what we've implemented right now is through our onboarding process, we have a learning management system called Learning Zen. And inside Learning Zen, in the very first 14 days when someone comes on our team, they have to go through and learn all the sales skills and sales training. And part of that is we require everybody to go through the Rebus University Certified Listing Agent course. And at the end of that, they've got to prove and got to come out and show us their certificate before they even get on the phone, before they even meet with a client, before they go out on any listing presentation. So what's interesting is that through this course, it's allowed me to leverage my time versus what it used to be, where I'd have to show them all of the listing presentations, spend time each individual, for 20 minutes at a time or 30 minutes at a time. So now I can leverage it through the Certified Listing Agent course and then go back and role play with them what they've learned. So what I've learned right now is that when an agent goes through this course, they feel confident. And that's the key, is the confidence is so built because they've been able to see someone else do it and then they practice it. And what's interesting is I've had so many agents. In fact, I've had over 20 agents go through this course and become certified. And a major portion of them go out on listing appointments when they're competing with another top agent and they actually win the listing on the first try. The skills, the techniques, the dialogues, and everything that they get from this course. It's pretty incredible.
If you want the same amount of listings and the same extremely high close ratio that Jeff Quinton's agents get, just type in the coupon code CLA50 on rebusuniversity.com. That's REBUS University.com. for, get this, 50% off the Certified Listing Agent course. That's CLA 50. You won't regret it. That's a great segue, because I heard you talk about this 5 Thrive that you have, and the first of the 5 Thrive is mindset. And I was going to go over this with you on the show, so let's jump into that. So first of all, tell me, what is the 5 Thrive, and then just jump right into number 1 of the 5 Thrive, which is mindset.
Well, so it all started. I did a keynote recently, and they were asking me to talk at a higher level, above, lead conversion, whatever. Like, what is responsible for success for a realtor? And really, it could be true with any small business owner. And so, I worked through this, and I thought, what's fundamental? What do they have to have? And by the way, the prerequisite, since we're talking about sales businesses, you got to have some sales skills, right? Nobody's going to convert anything if you don't know how to sell and you don't know how to talk to people. So that's an assumption, right? But if you're that person, you've got some sales skill and you're trying to convert at a higher level, the first thing, the thing that's going to move the needle more than anything else is how big is your thinking? What's the quality of your thinking? At how high a level are you thinking? So if there's 12 hours a day that you can think about work, of course, some people overwork way beyond that. But if there's 12 hours a day that you can think about work, how many hours of the day are you thinking at 30,000 feet, and how many hours of the day are you at 2 feet, right? And this goes back to the building a system versus just spinning on the hamster wheel, right? How many hours a day are you spinning the hamster wheel? How many hours a day are you thinking at 30,000 feet? And how positive is that 30,000 foot thinking? What's your expectation? Is your expectation amazing results, or are you like just in this fear-based, I don't know what the heck's going to happen next, kind of vibe?
Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's jump into number 2 then. Number 2 is balance. Tell me about that.
Well, the at the top of our business, the people who succeed the most in real estate, even the best of the best, most of them, I see them overworking. I see them without appropriate work-life balance. I had, seeing stuff online over the holidays, people talking about prospecting on Christmas Day. And I thought, I was like,
that's that, right? Really? People were they were proud of that. I mean, who didn't pick up the phone, right?
I'm like
who's this asshole calling me on Christmas Day?
Can I say Yeah, I guess I can say douchebag since you said asshole.
Yeah, so, no. If someone called me on Christmas Day saying, "Are you thinking about buying or selling a house in the near future?" I'm never ever using that agent.
So okay, so look,
poor kids.
In their defense, these guys were saying they're not calling with that script. They're calling just like Sphere and saying, "Hey, Merry Christmas" and all this stuff. And that's cool, but come on, man, you're working on Christmas Day. So
bottom line,
you've got a work-balance life issue, right?
You have a big problem.
Yeah. So I'm sort of extreme opposite. I'm, you may have read 4-Hour Work Week or, things like that, right? That none of them are saying don't work. They're saying stay really hard on your Pareto principle, your 20%. What's your key stuff? And just don't do all the other stuff, right? And I could tell just from a little bit I know about your life, Pat, that you're, I see you smiling, like you get that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've always
that's number 2. That's number 2.
I love it. And I think it's important to talk about that, you know what I mean? Because real estate is a consuming business, right? It is very, very consuming because the commissions are so big, right? And it's so hard to say no to big commissions at the end of the day. And so that's what happens. And
that's been another fun exercise for my wife and I, as I've kind of dug back in, right, to the taking a phone call at 7:00 when we're trying to have dinner because, somebody on my team has got something going on and whatever. And, and we've talked through it. I'm like, hey, babe, we got to have to do some of this stuff while we're trying to get this thing started and get everybody in the right place on the bus and all that stuff. But there's a really intentional discipline there that says, hey, that's not going to be my rhythm, right? I'm going to build my life. I'm going to make the business feed my life, not let the business take over.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I love that. Okay, so number 3 is team, and you're gonna have to define this one because again, it's a cliche. Team, right? Everyone wants to build a team now. Some people, like a lot of listeners to the show, don't have teams. What are you exactly saying here?
Well, so here's what I've come around to, Pat. Everyone is a team. You're a team. I'm a team. So the question is, you're a team. You have an org chart. Let's say there's 20 jobs. In real estate, there's 50 jobs. But let's say there's at least 20 jobs on this org chart. Well, if you don't have any team members, you have 20 jobs.
Right. You either clean toilets or you hire a maid.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Maid's on your team or you're on your own team.
So lots of realtors are like, man, I don't want a team. I don't want to manage that. Well, okay, cool. Then you either have a team, and for really the reality is most people have some team. They're just not acknowledging it, right? So they've got a contractor that's doing some marketing for them, and they've got a web design guy, and so they've got these outsourced pieces. They just don't think of that as team. So what I'm really focused on is saying, look, you decide what you want your team to look like, and my team doesn't need to look like Pat's or look like, anybody else's. And if you don't have 20 buyers agents, don't do that. But that doesn't mean you don't have a team.
Yeah, no, love it. Okay, numbers. Number 4, numbers. What's that mean?
Well, that's right there with system, right? So if the total focus is, we talked in the real estate space, like I want to try to build a system that functions, that generates X amount of leads, and I'm working on my business, not in my business. So that's a different translation of focusing on the numbers, right? So what I'm thinking about as many hours a day as possible, both in the Explode Conference business and in the team, is how many leads do we generate? What's our response look like to those leads, and what's the conversion rate for each lead source? And so at the rank and file agent level, nobody's doing that. They kind of sort of think, well, maybe, okay, this is converting better than that or whatever. But nobody really knows their numbers. Very, very few. The really successful guys know their numbers really, really well.
So, what do you do about that? I mean, I talk to some people that come on the show. They're like, hey, look at at the end of the day, right? The guy that's selling 7 houses a month compared to the guy selling 1 house a month, that's the number that's important, the 1 and the 7. Obviously, the guy with the 7 is much better at getting all the other little numbers, number of calls, number of contacts, number of conversions, number of appointments, number of sales, number of settlements.
At some point, it's too much, right? And interestingly, all of that stuff is not my natural bent at all, right? So honestly, I mean, you could know 2 numbers. How many leads came in this month, and how many did we close, and what was the source of those? So 3 things. Everything else, all that other granular detail, frankly, I'm not going to pay any attention to it. It'd be great if I had somebody doing it. But honestly, I don't think most people know that stuff. And here's the thing is that the thing around numbers that we haven't talked about is goals. So if the guy that's doing 1 a month wants to do 36 deals next year, so 3 a month, you just don't get there unless you're intentional, unless you're looking at it, unless you've said, well, how many leads do I need to lead to 3 closings a month and consistently, right? I need 20 leads a month. I need 50 leads a month, like whatever it is. So unless you're tuned into what your goals are and what your actual execution numbers are, you just won't ever grow, right? You'll just kind of do whatever comes.
Yeah, well, that what is tracked expands. I'm a firm believer of that. You know what I mean? You gotta track, like it or not. You gotta track. So,
yeah.
All right. What's the 5th one? What's the 5th of the Thrive 5?
So now it's automate, right? This is 2018. We've got all these amazing tools to work with. There's still problems in that there's no seamless automation. I mentioned earlier, API. So, everything, for those who listen to this and don't know what API is, it's application programming interface. So every single tool, with limited exceptions at this point, has an API. So there's an automated way for this tool, for this CRM to talk to this ISA company, and there's a way to move that data into an email marketing program, and all that stuff can happen in an automated way. Somebody has to initially set all that up. Somebody with some technical aptitude has to set all that stuff up. But to scale to a volume that goes beyond what your humans can do, and do it way more consistently, you need some automation. And so in real estate, for sure, now there's all this stuff. There's Agentology, there's Agent Legend, there's Get Riley, there's all these great CRMs. Everyone always asks what do you use. I'm using Follow Up Boss for my CRM. So
why'd you choose Follow Up Boss? I mean, you're a guy that obviously you go to conferences, all the players, in the game, quite frankly, but you built your own team. So why'd you choose Follow Up Boss?
So in my opinion, Follow Up Boss has more integrations, more API stuff, more ability to talk to everything else than anybody else has done. So more openness. And for what I'm trying to do and my philosophy on the business right now, that's the best tool I could find to do it with. And it's funny because I think everybody assumed like, well, I would use Realtor.com or I would use somebody who sponsors my events. And I'm just like everybody else. I looked at every tool out there and went, what's going to work best for me? I'm paying them like everybody else. So that's what works best. And the big cliche of the year, the most asked question of the year was, what's the best CRM, right? Well,
yeah.
And the cliche answer has become whatever one you're going to use, whatever fits your eye, whatever fits even just the UI, right? What do you like looking at? My buddy Brandon Wise from Wise Agent has a really cool CRM. I don't like looking at their UI. Of course, I haven't looked at it recently, so maybe it's all changed. But love Brandon, and his customers freaking love him and love their CRM. But to my eye, it doesn't look good. So that would disqualify it for me. And it could be that simple.
It's a crowded space. It's a very crowded space, and where it didn't used to be. And I actually have been talking to some people that are, that have opinions on this. I'm not saying this is my opinion, but it's about ready to price-wise be disrupted in that, because it's so competitive that, and because so many of them offer so many of the same things, you're going to see a depreciation. I'm not going to say I'm going to say some people are predicting that there's going to be a mass depreciation there. It'd be interesting to watch. Because everyone that comes on this show, that is like one of the questions we ask on the show when agents come on is, what technology are you using? And of course, they immediately go to their CRM, which is not really what I'm asking, but they go to it anyways. And it is a plethora of different answers that I get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. Too many choices. Hopefully, it'll all start to consolidate.
Yeah. All right, cool. So this has been awesome. I appreciate you being so candid and sharing everything. I mean, you offer a lot of information. So let's wrap this up with a couple of things. First of all, Explode. Like, let's say someone's listening to this. And by the way, guys, his seminar series is called X, not EX. It's XPLODE. And I assume you named it that because you want them to explode their business, right?
That's right. Yeah. And the website is explodethis.com. So, like I said,
you didn't have enough heart in that.
Yeah, right. Enough passion. That's what some people tell me. I'm boring.
You kind of put like a California sort of surfer accent on that. All right. So explodethis.com. And what do you teach in an Explode class?
Everything that you and I just talked about. Okay. So people say, what's Explode? The best answer is, I tell them it's Idea Fest. So it's a one-day immersive experience. We're going to bring 10 to 15 speakers. A lot of them are top agents and brokers. A lot of the people that you're interviewing are also people who are speaking at Explode. We bring a lot of the big tech companies with us, like Realtor.com and some of the CRM tools and website companies, Web.com, Firepoint, partnering with us this year. And so it's an opportunity to spend a day thinking about all of this stuff, technology, marketing. How can I level up? How can I break through my natural ceiling of achievement and do something at a higher level? for me, Pat, I'm the kind of guy, I need to step away and just get into a conference environment for a day in order to get away from my business and think about this stuff. Because I can listen to your podcast while I'm doing 35 other things, but that's not the same as, hey, I'm going to step away from a day and think about it, talk to all the vendors who can help me. We try to bring as many of them, to that local market as we can. And so that's what it's like.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm going to put all of the links to the website there and all of Matt's information. And if you want to reach out to Matt and say, hey, thanks for sharing, coming on the show, whatever, all of his social media links. Matt, as you know, everybody that comes on the show brings a free gift for the Rockstar Nation. We take that gift and we put it in the Agent Success Toolbox, which has a plethora of free information in there from all of our guests. And we also put it on the show notes. Now, since you haven't been on the show, I'm going to just make the show notes hybendigital.com, Matt Fagioli, and that's not how it is. It's so easy to just go there, right? It's Fagioli.
Fagioli.
Okay,
you can just call me, all the cool kids just call me Beans. It means beans.
Beans? Really?
Yes. If you go to a restaurant and you order pasta fagioli, pasta and beans.
All right. Fagioli. So just type in hybendigital.com /Matt, MATT, Fagioli. And we'll put it there. So Matt, what are you bringing?
So I think we're going to do three things, Pat. We'll give everybody the worksheet for Thrive Forever, which is the 5 steps we just kind of talked through.
Cool.
We'll give everybody the worksheet there. We're offering a discount for Pat Hyben fans to attend Explode if it's in a city near them, and we'll, your links will share, where we're going to be, and stuff like that. And then also what we'll do is we'll share a PDF file from our most recent conference, so you'll be able to see all the slides of what people talked about at one of our recent conferences.
Oh, that'd be really cool. I appreciate that. So, guys, that'll all be in his show notes as well as the Agent Toolbox. Matt, this has been a pleasure, buddy. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and best of luck to you, and definitely we'll get together soon and break some bread.
Thanks, Pat. Great talking to you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.